Okay, I'm working on this page here, the third set of steps, and I have got the back plate glued into place. Everything fit wonderfully, no problems. I glued the idler wheel axles into place, no problems there. And I'll see if I have that problem with tight tracks like I mentioned earlier, and how it cocked them out on the old kit I built years ago. Once I see if these tracks are too long or too short. But I've got those done. And then this is what I really want to talk about, is the muffler. Now this is one of those cases where I use my clothespins for clamps. And this is also one of those cases where there are locating pins, as shown in this illustration here, on either side of the muffler. Now what I did is test fit the two pieces, and they didn't line up very good. I mean, it's not very round to begin with, it's such an old kit. So what I did is I cut one of the locating pins off, the one that was on the crookedest side, and then I cemented it. And as you can see here, I have a bit of a seam. You know, old molds, they just don't, they're not as precise. They didn't have slide molding back then, I don't think, so you end up with these hideous seams. It was like that on both sides, but as you can see, not much of a seam left. And there's a number of ways you can do that. You can use your knife and scrape it, but if it's too much, if you do that, then you're gonna end up with a big flat spot. So you can use files. In the case of, as you can see here, I've already done the end of this, and I used a spongy type file. It helps kind of conform as you're applying pressure, so it doesn't, it's less prone to making a flat spot. So I got that end done. This end is almost done. But what I want to show you, and hopefully you can see it, is right here in the seam. This is all dull. There's a little bit of shininess. That shininess tells you you haven't gone down far enough in sanding. So you have to sand it some more till that shiny spot is gone. That tells you you've gotten all the way down to the lowest point of the wonky looking seam. Okay, much better. So that's what I've done on the top. But what I did on the top is I used this handy device. It's made by FlexiFile, and it's an aluminum frame with these abrasive tapes with loops on the end. They're very easy to change. They just fit around like that, and all you do is just fit it over the part you want to sand. And since it's flexible and conforms to the surface, it allows you to kind of sand in a curved fashion without ending up with a flat spot. And again, you got the shiny spots. You want to make sure that you get down there far enough. Okay, but that's FlexiFile. That's an item. It's not very expensive. It can be ordered online, and you can get packages of extra and various grit sanding tapes, from ultra fine, medium, coarse, whatever. And it just really helps to sand on these curved surfaces. So another thing I'm going to have to do to this muffler is, as you can see here, the exhaust pipe is solid, molded over. So using my pin vise like I did on the bracket for the front of the vehicle, I am going to drill it out so it actually looks like an exhaust pipe as opposed to just a solid blob of plastic. Okay, again, it's very simple. Just loosen your chuck, insert your bit, center it up where you want to drill, and then just go to town. So I'm going to take care of that, and then I can move on to some of the other upper deck details. Okay, so I've got the muffler ready to go, and as you can see here, I got the exhaust pipe portion drilled out. What I did here is I used a successive series of bits, a small one, to get a pilot hole started. And then I went with a little bit bigger, just to make sure that it was centered properly, and then I was able to use one and get it nice and thin. So anyway, that's done. So I've got all the parts cut out and ready to go for this section here. So I'm going to do those, and then I will cut all the parts off here and get those glued onto the upper hole portion after I clean up the flash, and then we'll be ready to move on. Okay, I got the exhaust and the other parts glued to the back plate, so this part of the hull is complete. I haven't glued the idler wheels on yet, but I'll be doing that shortly. But what I want to talk about right now is I have mentioned that I'm going to be doing zimmerit on this kit. And if you don't know what zimmerit is, for the beginners out there or those that may not really know, it's an anti-mine paste that was applied at the factory to German vehicles that prevented magnetic mines from sticking to the vehicle. So a soldier couldn't run up, stick a mine, run off and blow it up. It was an anti-magnetic type paste that was put on a textured pattern that I'll show you, but since I mentioned that for the front and how I marked it, I'm going to have to do the same thing for the sides here. So anywhere where there's going to be detail glued to the vehicle, I'm going to have to mark it so I can apply the magnetic mine paste, and I'll discuss how I do that when I get to it. So for right now, I'm going to glue what I can on, and then I'll mark where the other parts are going to go, and then I can start working on the paste.